All right. Bunch of stuff to go through today, so I'm going to try to do it quick. Stop me if I'm not making sense. If you have a question, whatever. So this week we have dropped several of the shared pages. I hope that's making your life great. A couple of reminders about that. Remember that if you're doing Don Kinslow or The Last Italian for Fargo, you should also be doing that shared page at the same time. So you can just kind of copy and paste, do the work at once and make it simpler. I'm going to email out to all of you the deadlines for our shared pages, as well as I'm going to update our content deadlines doc. And then the pod coverage doc has been updated now with who's responsible for those specialty docs. And sorry, I got distracted by a message. And what day they need to be done. And I put which page it is on that document. Questions on shared pages? Okay. Next thing is the election. So on election night, every one of our dailies, as well as Worthington, are remaking some pages. Essentially, they're going to build an e-edition that goes before their print edition. Like when you log into their e-edition. So like you log in and you'll like flip through the e-edition and then you'll get to everything that they did for print. Nobody's going to be able to remake sports pages that night. So we're just going to focus on getting the news page done. We're also doing shared pages for statewide races just to, to make things easier, make sure that we're not duplicating a bunch of work. I've got a document of like what those shared pages are and what everything's going to look like that I'll have for you on election night. But for right now, don't worry about it. We will, at least some people are going to have to stay until about 1 a.m. So if you are okay with doing that, if you'd like to volunteer, please let me know. Just shoot me a message or an email or something. If you're willing to do that, then that means that I'm going to assign you to work on some of the properties that are like we're most expecting to go late based on the number of races that they have and things like, Dickinson's in a different time zone, an hour behind. So, while, in Minnesota, we might get a lot of the results already. Dickinson won't have them yet. Stuff like that. Everyone else, we're going to try to have you done by midnight. And we've set the deadlines so that we should be able to do that. But it's election night. Stuff can get weird. Please plan that you might have to stay late. That's just how that works. If you are done earlier in the day and you're willing to come back and work a couple of hours later, like if you work during the day and then you're like, I could, also work 10 to midnight or something like that. Again, please let me know. That'll help us figure out how to assign all of the work and make that stuff work. Since it's a print day, I don't want to take any of you from all the print stuff that you have to do in the morning, but we could definitely use some more hours at night if anyone's willing. I hope you've all seen the email about pizza gift cards. Election night pizza is a time-honored tradition in the world of newspapers, and so I want to make sure you all get that. Not everyone has filled out that form that I sent in the email, though. So if you have not filled that out, please do that. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you need me to send you the form again, please let me know that as well, because it's very important that you get your pizza gift card. I'm planning to send that stuff out on Monday, so make sure that you get that all done like that. The forum lottery numbers, we dropped starting Thursday last week. So it's been a week of editions now, and we have yet to hear any complaints. We are going to finish out this week and see if we hear anything. And if we don't hear anything, then the plan is to move ahead and eliminate the lottery and all the other publications. So Matt Corey's very excited. And then I just wanted to talk about kind of the way we've been approaching sports pages since we had the content change for sports. I just want to be really clear that the number of pages that publication requests that layout set up in PageTrack for them is not what decides how many pages of sports content they have, unless it's a print edition. So Fargo, for example, most days they are still scheduling 6 pages for sports. On most days, they need maybe half of that. Like there's really no reason for them to have 6 pages. So I want to be clear that just because they have 6 pages does not mean pod editors that you need to stretch the page assignments to fill those 6 pages, or that designers, you need to just run every photo 6 columns to fill those pages. If the content is such that there should be 3 pages, then there should be 3 pages, and we don't need the other pages. The same with our shared pages that we're building. We need to have a minimum of 2 of those shared pages. We have 4 of them built in the system, but we do not need all 4 pages. So if the sports content that we have merits 2 pages, then we should do 2 pages. For the pages you're not going to use, double check the dummies to make sure there's no ads on them. If there are ads, you can move them to the sports pages that you're going to keep, and then let the hub manager on duty know. So for Fargo, we're not using B4, B5, or B6, and then they'll delete those pages out. So, yep, Matt.
If I'm a pod editor and there is let's say it's B4 and it does have a 2x4 on it, you said just move the ads. Well, I don't know, as pod editors, we know how to do that. Is that something we contact the hub manager that night who's on duty and say, can you do this? Or how does that process?
Yeah, you can ask the hub manager to take care of it.
Okay.
It's just an image on the page that just has to be moved to a different page.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Yeah, I just don't do more sports pages than the content merits, I guess is the message here. The holidays are coming up. We are working on getting the calendars updated. The Thanksgiving schedule on the calendar is updated for the pod, and I'll have Christmas done by the end of the week. And then Emily is updating the calendar for the hub, and that should be done by the end of the week as well. So that information will be up shortly. If you have questions, once that comes up, let me know. We'll work through them. Okay, then just a couple of quick things to go through. The pod digests, we're going to start archiving the old digests. So essentially, like when we start setting up next Sunday's digest, the old digest, the entire thing is going to be copied and then moved into an archive document. What we're going to do is each day, as we set up the new digest, the old digest will just be copied to the top of that document. So it'll be, in chronological order from most recent down to oldest in that document. And I will make sure that that document is linked at the top of all of our digests. So if you do need to go back and look at an old digest, you can do that. We had been keeping like the previous week's digest on our digest, and it causes some problems because like if I'm looking for what to put on the shared pages, I'm scrolling all the way down. And then we've had a couple of issues with that already. And, this will just help us cut that out and make sure that we do have the records of everything that was there. I had a meeting today with Tris. He is the new editor in Detroit Lakes and Perham. He's been there a little bit, so now that he's got his feet under him, I just kind of wanted to talk to him and talk through some pod stuff. We had a pretty significant headline error in their paper recently. So for the next month or so, they are asking that if we change a headline, especially on the front page or on the sports cover, to just send them a message in the pod room letting them know that we changed it. And I told them that we would do that for about a month. just so that they can feel a little bit more comfortable with things there. I'm also updating the publication guide that we have for Detroit Lakes in our publication guide, things for pod editors, so that it will have the updated information. It's also going to have, it has Trista's cell phone, and it now has Jared's cell phone. I know that we've had sports issues with that property and not been able to reach anybody, so Jared's cell phone is in there now too. Okay, just a reminder again that there's no North Dakota content to go in the Duluth or Rochester papers. And for North Dakota, they consider Ag Week to be North Dakota content. So keep an eye on that. And then we just have a couple of proofing reminders. Jay Gabler in Duluth. We keep spelling his name wrong. His name is Jay Gabler, Jaygabler. So when you see his name in the credits, especially on the lifestyle cover, I think is where we keep screwing it up. Just double check that it's spelled correctly. The other thing we've seen recently is, you know, when we have a single section, when we're doing jumps, we don't need to say, you know, to A3 because it's just page 3. So please just be checking what you're doing with that. Usually you can check the top of the page and it'll say 3 up there, and then you know that you shouldn't have any 3. Skyboxes, we've had a couple of skyboxes that have been inaccurate or that, you know, we were going fast and then accidentally put information from one pub onto another pub's skybox area. So designers, when you're putting the skybox in, make sure that it seems like a skybox that should be going in that paper, that it makes sense to you. And then, you know, proofers, again, just, you know, look at that and see if, okay, that makes sense. Yep, that should, you know. So, yep, Emily.
Along with the jump lines not needing numbers if it's just one section, I know the template for a lot of the indexes has sports as like B1 or like B whatever. So just like make sure if it's one section that that's a number instead of B something. Thanks.
Okay, good point. Thank you, Emily. And then the last thing I have is just that we've had a bunch of photos lately of people that have run small. So remember that the kind of the rule is that a person's face in a photo should never be smaller than a dime when you go to actual size. And personally, I prefer that everybody be nickel sized or larger. I know that's 5 cents less, and I'm not trying to cheat people, but I'm getting older. My eyesight's not as good, and I have trouble seeing dime people. So nickel people is going to be better. That's a sentence I never thought I would be saying. Yes, Michael, save me.
I know that we've had some conversations before about how people use the e-paper, you know, like when they click on the story, they get the photo that blows up and stuff. So is this more in reference to print pages where obviously that's not a thing, or do you want us to keep an eye out on that for just kind of in general on all the pages as far as the design goes?
Yep, across the board. Yeah, because yeah, when they click on it, it will blow it up. But you know, we should still be having our people photos larger, and you know, as you're just flipping through, you should be able to see the people too. So, all right. I apologize. I know I just threw a lot of stuff at you. Questions on any of that right now? Okay. If you think of any questions later, issues, whatever, of course, you know where to find me. Yes, Matt.
Oh, well, I just need a couple people to stay behind for the meeting for me if they could. So.
Okay. Emily, Michael, Matt, Joe, did any of you have anything that you wanted to add for the whole team while we're all here? Okay. All right. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you. Make sure you tell me where you want your pizza from. Yes, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to ask Jake, P, and Carrie to stick around after the meeting.
Okay. All right. Jake Pfeiffer and Carrie, you guys hang out. Everybody else, you're welcome to go. Thank you all. Have a great day.